but the trending interest rate using the Fed's measure of PCE inflation is about 2.1. All inflationary episodes, all big inflationary episodes are preceded by big increases in money supply growth. Now, not all increases in money supply growth create big inflation, but all big inflation is preceded by big increases in money supply growth. So we had, which is not represented on this chart, but we had 20 to 30% money supply growth in 2020 and 2021, which preceded the big inflation that we had. So what I'm showing on this chart here is the growth rate of various measures of money supply. There's a measure called true money supply, or TMS2, which is for the Austrian School of Economics. They like to use a measure called true money supply. The definitions or construction is not overly important. We have our standard M2 measure of money supply, and then we have our big, broadest M4 measure of money supply. And again, in this chart, what I did was I showed the growth rates from 24, 18, 12, 6 months ago, and most presently. And I also denoted for each measure of money supply the average rate from 2012 to 2019, which was a period of time of relatively stable inflation, below trend or roughly on trend inflation, as well as roughly stable economic growth. So what you'll notice in the chart is all three measures of money supply are below their historical trends. So the Austrian TMS2 measure is about 1.6 growth rate. M2 is about 3.5. M4 is about 3. All of these are below trend measures of money supply. And going back to the comment that I made initially was that all big increases in inflation are preceded by large above trend increases in money supply. So given that statement, I don't believe that we are on the cusp of a second wave of inflation that's going to go back to 3, 4, 5, 6% like we experienced. With that being said, what you'll, of course, also notice in the chart is that the rate of change is increasing a little bit. We were contracting money supply across all three measures, going from, -8 in the case of TMS2, or -3 12 months ago in the case of M2, or about -1% for M4.